guys, I'm Denyse with Artist at Heart, and I want to do some fun painting stuff with you guys, okay? So thanks for watching. I just opened up a brand new box of this Art Key acrylic paint. I'm going to show you guys how it works, but there's 24 amazing colors, and each one of these bottles is 2 ounces. So they're really easy to use. They're great for individual use and for paint parties, which I do both. I do online paint parties, I do in-person paint parties, but I wanted to unbox it for you guys so you can see everything that comes in the box. You can scan. It gives you a chart of all the colors, and it gives you a list of everything. So just so you know, there's 2 whites in there, 2 titanium whites. You always go through more white than anything else, right? So you'll use a little bit of black because it's so dark and so intense, and a ton of white, always, always, always. So that's just normal. Now, on top of the 24 colors of acrylics, you're also going to get a little mixing tray. You're going to get some little brushes and some palette knives, okay? So we'll set those aside for later. I really want to focus on the beautiful colors that I have here. You guys are going to love it. So I thought I would do like a fun summertime painting. And again, I just want to show you some of the colors. I'm not going to use all of them. You can also mix your own colors up as well, but these colors are super pretty. And I have 3 girls sitting on the beach here, right? So I thought, oh, we could do, this would be the sand, this would be the water, this would be the sky. You could do a sunset sky, you can do any sky you want, but you want to always have contrast, right, with the girls sitting on the beach. So I thought, let's see, let me open up one of these little palette trays here. So acrylic paint's non-toxic, water-based. It comes out with everything. When you paint on fabric, it takes, like, this is my paint shirt, okay? If I get paint on here, it'll wash out, but if I let it sit for more than a day, it's gonna stay. It'll be on there for a while. So let's do, I don't know, like, look at this pretty, this is sky blue. Let's start with sky blue. So easy cap, right? Easy peasy. Got a little hole. And you don't, whenever you use acrylic paint, you don't need that much of it, okay? Little bit will do you. Now, you can also add a little bit of white to it to make it even lighter. So I'm going to put just on my plate here, my little palette, a little bit of white as well, okay? Now, this is going to be the sky. This would be the water. This would be the sand, okay? So I'm going to use the artsy flat brushes. So you guys, these artsy brushes, so these are long handles. They come in a pack of 12, all different sizes, from little to large, flat, washable, great for beginners. You know, they're nice nylon. You can wash it with like mild hand soap or Dawn dishwashing liquid or something like that. But just think of, you know, what size you want to use to get in those like little nooks and crannies and stuff. So I'm just going to use, they do have numbers on them. So this is like a number 8. Now, when I teach classes, I don't say the numbers because some people might have different brushes than I have. And you don't want to water down acrylic. Acrylic should be fairly thick. So I put a little dab of that, and I'm going to put a little bit of white on my brush as well. So you see that? Little dab will do you. I got a little blue and a little white. And I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to do some horizontal brush strokes. I did not wet my brush. So did you notice the more I go over it, the more the color, the white and the blue blend together. But if you want it more streaky, you don't want to keep going over and over and over it. But you do want to get the canvas covered. So you want to get it thick enough where it covers the texture that's showing through, which is the gesso on the canvas. So I'm going to put a little bit more paint on my plate. You could do this any size. This is, again, just a sample. for you guys. So I just put a little bit more white, and I'm going to put a little bit more blue. And I just mix it right on my canvas. So again, I'm not adding any water. I'm just going to scoop up a little white and a little blue. And I'm going to use horizontal brush strokes. And some people like to sketch out their design first. So I do both. I have canvas paintings where I sketch it out, and I have canvas paintings where I just paint right on the canvas. And when I'm doing a paint party, it just depends on the painting that they select and if they want it pre-traced or if they want to just, go freestyle and freehand it. So I love acrylic paint because of the opaqueness. Opaque means you don't see through it. So if you wanted it more opaque, like a watercolor, you could water it down. But I think then you don't have that beautiful, nice rich color. So these colors are very bold and very rich. So I just scooped up a little bit more white on my brush, and I'm just mixing it right on the canvas. And I'm using horizontal brush strokes to get that streaky look in the sky. See that? So I like the streaks, I like it, shows that it's like a real painting. I could even, oops, I just got a blob of it. So really when you guys do this, you can do it on an easel or do it flat. But for me on here with you guys, I like to have it up on an easel. And acrylic paint dries pretty quick. Now, it depends on the moisture in the air. So I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. It's really hot today, and it's actually very humid. It's like 80% humidity. But I'm inside with the air conditioning. So it's dry. So the air's pretty dry inside my house. So it's drying quick. But if I was outside painting in this humidity, it would take a much longer time to dry. I've done festivals outdoors, and it's super hot and humid, and the paint just doesn't dry. Like it takes a long time again. So it really depends on the humidity levels that you're painting in. But for the most part, acrylic dries pretty quick. And I am a certified art teacher in Ohio. I taught art in the city of Cleveland for over 20 years, and I wanted to start my own business teaching people of all ages and abilities to create. And so I have had my own business doing paint parties for 7 years. And when COVID hit, I had to transition like everybody else into a different way to teach because, everything went virtual. And I'm not great on the computer. I do much better with, like painting with a paintbrush than I am with a mouse and the computer. So anyway, and you guys feel free to tell me where you're at. And if you have any interest in the product, I'm going to go back to the paint I'm using so you guys can see the paint that I'm using too. Okay. So again, that's the sky. So then the best part about acrylic. So if you go inside the lines and make a mistake, I'll show you. See that? Like mine's not perfect. We're not going for perfection here, right? So if you go inside the line, don't worry about it because acrylic paint is so opaque that you can cover your mistakes, right? So I always tell people, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. And really this is fun art, not fine art. Okay, we're going for fun art here. Okay, so now you guys, I'm using these amazing colors, these beautiful, vibrant colors. And when I say blue, so I just used sky blue, right? Look at this is called sky blue. There's also cobalt blue. There's also acid blue. So what I want to do is I want to do a different blue for the water. And what I'm thinking, because I want it to kind of be like a Mediterranean or like a turquoise. So, but I'd like to see what this blue looks like. So this is acid blue. I'm not even gonna wash my brush. I'm just gonna scoop up some acid blue and put it in her hat, which is not what I meant to do. All right. Did I mention, you guys, that I'm a little bit messy? No, I'm really messy. So here's a perfect example of making a mess. I'm not even going to worry about that because I'm going to paint over. So I'm just going to leave that big mistake there. But I still want to see what this acid blue looks like compared to the sky blue. So look at that. It's a little bit deeper. It's still really pretty. And I'm just brushing some of that in the sky with some horizontal brush strokes. I like, again, to see the streaks, the brush strokes. I want it to look natural. I don't want it to look like a pattern. And I want it to look different than the water. There. So I like that. And again, I'm not even going to worry about that mistake. Mistakes happen all the time. It doesn't matter who I'm teaching, right? I make mistakes. I probably make more mistakes than anybody else. Okay, so let's see a good color for the water. Oh, here's another one. Look at this powder blue. This is really pretty. So, I have lots of different blues here. I have ultramarine blue, powder blue, cobalt blue, sky blue, and acid blue. There's 5 different blues here. That's amazing. Okay. And then this looks like Prussian blue, 6 blues. Love it. So very, very nice, bold, rich colors, very vibrant. All right. So I'll give this a minute to dry. We'll come back to the water. How about if we do the sand? So the girls are sitting on the sand. This is like a girl's day out, right? So we're going to find a good color for the sand. So this is not bad for sand color. This is called nude. It's also good for being nude. We're not going to do nudes today, okay? You guys, my first day in college, art school. I went to art school. I went to the Cleveland Institute of Art. All right, so I'm going to put a little nude in here. My first day in art school, and I went to an all-girls Catholic high school, I'm just saying. So my first day at art school was a little bit of a shock. I get there and some guy, so I have nude on here. I'm thinking I'll put a little bit of Naples yellow too. So this guy comes out in his robe, and I don't know anybody, right? I don't know anybody in this class. It's my first day of college. And we're all like in these desks sitting like drawing desks with a drawing pad. And he comes out and I'm like, oh, please have something on under that robe. Have something on under that robe. No, he took his robe off and he was naked. And, I have long hair. I put my hair down and I covered my face and I was laughing so hard. Sorry, I was just a little shocked. So anyway, I got over it, but I had to do nudes all the time. Okay, so now I'm just mixing these two together. I'm looking for a good color for the sand. Okay, you could always add brown in there. I could put white in there. I'm going to cover up my big blue. My blue's still wet. So it's easier to cover up paint where you make a mistake when it's dry, but I just kind of mixed it in there. So there's my sand. Maybe I put a little bit more brown in. Maybe I put some white in there. So this is called nude, and I have a pale yellow. What did I say the yellow was called? I got off on a tangent about nudes in college. This is called Burgee Yellow Gray. Interesting. It's kind of a pretty color. So I'm going for sand here when I'm not off on a talent. But I'll tell you, so back then, the Cleveland Institute of Art was 5 years. And I'm not going to tell you what year it was, but it was a long time ago. So art school was fun. I loved to paint. I wanted to major in painting. My mother said, no, you got to get a job. What are you going to do with painting? But I'm like, oh, I love painting. And, back then the paint and sips weren't so popular. So I had a minor in drawing and painting, and my major was graphic design, which, well, I did not like graphic design at all. So I did that for like a year, and I was like, no way, Jose. Again, I'm not good on computers. And I went back to school and got my master's in art education, and then I became an art teacher, which was way more fun. Super fun. Hi, guys. So, and then I was an art teacher in the public schools for 20 years, 21 years. So then I went virtual during COVID, and now I'm doing both. I'm doing virtual and I am doing in person. It's fun. I think art is really relaxing as long as you just don't worry about the outcome being perfect. Like this big splotch. That's a big mistake, okay? Oops. Did I quit? No. And I like to say it's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. Of course, the right supplies help. So I'm giving you guys, these are called Art Key acrylic paints, and they come in a set of 24. I love mixing colors, but the nice thing about this is you have such a variety of colors. So you can still mix, like I'm mixing 2 of these colors, but they're so pretty. Very vibrant, rich color. I would bring, so when I do a paint party in person, let's just say this one as an example, because this is the next one I'm doing in person with a large group of people at a college. And if someone wants to change the color, let's say that they want to do blue instead of purple. I always have all the colors. So I would bring this box with me just in case I need a color that's not on the painting. I would not tell my guests, no, I don't have that color. So I try to have every color that I possibly can so that if a guest requests something, I have it. And again, this is the sand that I'm going for here. So I'm going to do their skin colors more flesh tone, not quite so orangey, because I want them to be, a little browner. There's a little bit of the sand here in between. Let's see. Here, this would be sand right here, right? Okay. So there you go. There's some of the sand colors. Thanks you guys for following me. I appreciate it. So I'm locally owned and operated by me, myself, and I. I'm an artist. And so when I went, let's see, I want to find a good, I'm looking for a good watercolor, like not watercolor paint, but like watercolor. So I think I'm gonna mix a turquoise. What do you guys think about that? I love experimenting. So I'm gonna take some of the sky blue. Okay, and I'm gonna put some green. This is called light green. I'm going for turquoise here, and I'm experimenting. So to me, this is the most fun, is experimenting with the colors. You see that? So I'm gonna mix them together. And see, those like the Gulf of Mexico, or sometimes when I'm in Florida, the water turns like that turquoise green blue color. Let's see. I want it to look different than so it should be lighter than that. I think that's too dark. So what would I do if it's too dark? Again, I am going to take some of my white. Remember I told you guys, you're always going to go through more white than anything else. That's why they give you 2 bottles, which is awesome. And this is pretty thick, which is so nice. Nice, thick. All right, so I added a little bit of white to that. Now let's see. again, I'm kind of going for that Gulf of Mexico, beautiful green, blue, turquoise color. I would love to like name paints. Like I would name this one Turks and Caicos, right? Or Naples, Florida. And it's fun to name your artwork too, right? And I do like to paint the edge of my canvas. So what do you think of that color? So when you do your water, you definitely want it to be different than the sky. Now your sky could also be sunset colors. It doesn't have to be blue. The most important thing is that you have contrast from your foreground to your background. So I don't want to have the colors be the same. This is going to be the water here. Kind of showing through them, right? Where they're sitting together. So I like to say I'm an accidental entrepreneur. So when I decided to expand my teaching of art to, my own business, and I had about 2,000 followers on social media, mostly mothers and grandmothers in the community, like Northeast Ohio. And when COVID hit and everyone was panicking about what to do with their children when school started, like that Monday, it's March 16th, when I don't know about you guys, but in Ohio, they shut down the schools. And so I made a post and I said, you guys want me to teach some free online classes? And they shared it on social media. And I grew from 2,000 followers to 30,000 followers in a weekend. From that Friday to that Monday, March 16th, my page just expanded like that. So when I went live for the first time, really having no idea what I was doing, and I had a lot of help with technology, I had 20,000 people watching me paint and painting with me. And it was really amazing and nerve-wracking at the same time. And so that is really how I started my online subscription group. And some of the people that were helping me pull all of this technology part off were already Amazon influencers. And they were the ones who said, you should come on Amazon. So people were always asking me what supplies I was using. And I'm like, you guys, it's a pandemic. Use whatever you have in your house. You don't have to use exactly what I'm using. But they wanted a supply list. So what made it super nice was that I could then, even though I would say you guys can use any supplies that you want, but they wanted a supply list so they could order it on Amazon. So I became an Amazon influencer or creator. I like to say an Amazon creator. And I was able to go on Amazon, create and tag all the products that I was using, which simplified it for people to order whatever it is that they wanted to order, right? Again, it's not a necessity. It's just if they wanted to. So, okay, so now I got my sky, my water, and my sand. So now I'm going to do my people. All right, so let's see. Ooh, I drop stuff all the time, you guys. Shh, don't tell anybody. All right, let's see if I still. All right, I'm looking for the colors. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of red for my, here's my palette, by the way. And this is washable. Crimson red. Let's give it, I'm going to shake it up gently. I'll do my first girl red. So there, look, a little bit. I'm going to give her a red bathing suit. So far, I've been pretty happy with these paintbrushes. I'm going to use another flat one. This one's a number 6. So I'm going to do, where'd it go? All right. So I'm going to do her swimsuit. And this is, again, if you go outside of the lines, I'm just going to, wherever I made a mistake or I, like the sand I got inside the line, I'm just going to paint right over it. And of course, your swimsuit can be any color. It would be even cute if you did like your whole family and you gave them like, you painted it the color of their real swimsuit. That's a nice red. I actually do have a red swimsuit. I'm not going to put it on while I'm live on camera, but I got it this summer. I did make a video of it, but I'm not wearing it while I'm live. So you'll have to just go check out my page. But it's a really nice swimsuit. I'm very happy with it. I love going to the beach. I love going on girls' trips. All right, so there's my swimsuit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the ribbon match my swimsuit. I'll do that on each one of them. So all 3. I'll have all 3 girls in all 3 different colors with matching ribbons in their hair. Okay, so here's not their hair, in their hat. All right, so this one will be red. Oh, I never used to wear a hat on the beach. I should put my swim hat on. I never wore a hat because I loved getting tan, and now I wear a hat. I wear SPF 50. Now I'm trying to undo all that sun damage that I created on myself. So if acrylic paint is too transparent and you want it to be darker, you just add a second coat to it. Now, what I'd like to do for this one is mix. I'm going to mix a little bit. This is vermilion. So I'm going to add a little bit of vermilion into my red just to make it a little bit more interesting or dimensional. Oh boy. I just put my mouse in some paint. I love how they have the thumb hole. So I've never been one to like stand. If I was outside, I'd probably do this. But like you see that, that's for your fingers to hold. That came with the paint, but I tend to leave mine on the table. But so what I'm doing is taking like a little bit of vermilion and mixing it in the red just to make it a little, can you see that? Give it a little bit more of an interesting color. Do you like it better plain red or with that little bit of vermilion in there? And I just went outside of the line on her tush. So what I'm going to do, look at, I'm just going to re-outline it like that. Did you see that? How I just fixed that? Same thing over here. I'm just going to re-outline it. So if I go out of the line a little bit, I could just make her tush a little bit bigger. Just go out a little bit bigger. There we go. And I can do the same thing up here. I can add a little bit of the color over here. A little bit of the color over here. There. How's that? All right, so what would I do next? What would be a nice color? And again, I would just tell you guys to use your favorite colors. Just consider having contrast, right? You don't want it to blend with the background. So I probably don't want to use blue or blue-green for the other swimsuits, right? Because I want to have contrast. I want it to pop. I want it to look summery. All right, so let's see. What color? You guys are so funny. I'm trying to use my mouse, but I might have set it accidentally into the paint. I'm not the best. Did I tell you I'm kind of messy? But it's not. Again, it's water-based. Look what I did. All right, look. Oh my gosh. Okay, look at what I did to my mouse. But it comes off. Okay, this totally comes off. So it's just right now it's a little bit sticky as I'm trying to roll it around. It's kind of funny. All right, so how about if we do the middle one? How about if we do the middle one purple? Or this is called violet. All right. So I'm going to put a look at my palette. So on camera, the violet looks really black or dark. So just and I'll actually paint some of it on there so you can see it, but then I'm going to add some white to it. And again, what did I say? I said we go through so much white. So look at how dark that is. It almost looks like brown or black. I'm going to spread it out a little bit more so you guys can see it's actually purple. Do you see that? But it's a dark purple. So I can scoop up some white and mix it in there. And now to me, that's too light. Right, I want it to be a little bit more intense than that violet or purple. So I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Again, and I like mixing right on my canvas. So you just mix it till you get to where you like it. If you don't know this, when you guys make a color, like if you take a color like violet and add white to it, it's called a tint. So whenever you add white to a color, it's a tint of it. Whenever you add black to a color, it's called a shade. So I used to tell the kids, think of like sunglasses, like a shade. So a shade is adding black to a color. And when you add black, it's a tiny bit. When you add white, you need a little bit more. Again, so luckily we have 2 bottles in this set. So we have 24 2-ounce bottles of paint, including 2 white, titanium white. And I've added white to everything on here. I've added white to the sky, to the water, and to the beach, and to the swimsuits. That's why you need more white. And these are great for, an individual. If you paint, and you're a beginner and you want to experiment, or if you do paint parties, or if you want to host a paint party with your friends or family. There it goes. I just dropped my brush. How about that? And again, it's non-toxic and it's water-based. So if I got it on my carpeting, I can just, when I'm done going live, I can just wash it off, or on my clothes or anything else. Okay, I'm going to fix her tushy up a little bit here. And then I'm going to do kind of the same thing. I'm going to make her ribbon on her head, match her swimsuit on her hat here. Again, I should go get my hat. There. I could put a little bit of the darker purple back in. So it's just violet right out of the bottle. And I just added a little bit of white to it. And my brush stroke follows whatever shape it is I'm painting. So I'm painting this ribbon. My brush is following the shape of the ribbon. Right? And then I'm going to do this down here. This one right here. I'm going to make the little puff part a little bit lighter. And I should have made it a little bit lighter on the red one too. So I can still go back and do that. See that? So it makes it stand out a little bit more. I should do that with the red one too. See, it makes it look a little bit better. Can you tell it's a little bit lighter? I'm going to put more white on it. So I am using canvas. This is stretch canvas. And I am going to show you the difference between a stretch canvas and a canvas panel. And really, it's just a matter of what you like. A panel is flat, so it doesn't have the, see that? This is on a stretch. This is on wood. So that's called a stretch canvas. And then a panel is flat like this. So if I'm doing a corporate party where people are traveling in from out of town, I don't want them to have to worry about packing a big or thick canvas. Okay, what color should we do this one? What do you think we should do hers? Her swimsuit. This looks fun. How about this fun lemon yellow? I think that looks fun. So as long as, again, I have some contrast on that sand. So let's see. Ooh, look at how bright that is. That's a nice bright yellow. All right, so I'm going to get lemon yellow right out of the bottle. Super bright, very fun, very summery. So this is going to be yellow all the way over there. It's her swimsuit, hanging out with her friend. Maybe they're talking about the dolphins in the water. Maybe they're talking about what they're going to have for dinner. I always like to create a story about my artwork. You got to think of a name for your artwork, something fun. This is fun art, not fine art, right? I like to have fun. I'm not going for perfection. I'm not trying to get into the art museum. I just like relaxing and having fun. That's what I like to say. I like to say fun art. Okay, so here's this bow here. Got my big splotch of blue in the hair, but we're going to fix it. I told you guys we would fix it. So there's different ways we could fix it, right? I could add a couple layers of paint to it. So I just put a little bit of white in there to give it a little bit of dimension and depth. But I do like this lemon yellow. It's very pretty, very bright and fun. Okay. So now we're gonna, again, we just want to keep all right, so let's keep going. I'm just checking on you guys, making sure everybody's good. Hey, Chessie, thanks for following me. It's a cool name, Chessie. Thank you. All right, you guys, thanks for anybody who wants to follow me. I greatly appreciate it. I thank you for your kind words and for watching. All right, so let's see what are we going to do next. How about if we do some skin tones and some hat color? So let's see what we can make with some. We have black, we have olive green, we have, so you guys, just so you know, there's a chart, right? There's a chart on the box. So I'm going to try some, I'm going to mix some colors because again, I'm a fan of mixing. So did you know that if you mix a bunch of colors together, you're going to get like a cool brown? I want to see if this looks like a straw hat. Does that look like a straw hat color? I think so. So I mixed some olive green with some of my purple and I got that color. I think that's a pretty cool color. So olive green and a little touch of purple mixed together gave me that interesting straw beach hat look. Now, again, what do you do if it's too dark? You would add a little bit of white to it. And I can always add details and highlights and, you know, other things later. Yeah, that's a good color. So I bumped into my yellow and I just mix it in there. I'm not even worried about it. Now here, I'm going to put a little bit more white so I can have the top part of this hat a little bit lighter, the center part. And again, you decide how light or how dark you want it to be. I just like for it to look a little bit different. So I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. Maybe they're at Lake Erie. Maybe Lake Erie is usually not turquoise, but but maybe this particular day it looks turquoise. Lake Michigan. Oh my gosh, have you seen Lake Michigan? It is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous color. So it could be whatever you want, right? But you guys, the more you create, the better you're going to get at it. And it's for fun. It's relaxing. It's, you know, just give it a try. And I always tell people when we do paint parties, just see how you feel when you start. Usually they're nervous. The hardest part is just that white, stark white canvas and just putting the first brush stroke on it. And then by the end, they're so relaxed. Sometimes they have those watches on and they're like, oh my God, my blood pressure, my heart rate's so low. So I have always found art to be extremely therapeutic and relaxing, especially if you put some music on. I cannot play music while I'm live because of copyright, but I highly recommend you play, something relaxing while you're creating. All right, let's do the middle. Let's do the red one, and then we'll go back to the middle. Right, so their hats can all be in similar color. So these brushes, I should go back to the brushes too, so you guys can see them. I won't do this before I was live and I was showing my OtterBox. Look at that OtterBox covered in paint, but it still works great. Well, I was showing them how it worked and I ended my live stream. So Anyway, these brushes, you guys, $10 for 12 of them. Okay. So it's nylon, right? I would say for any beginner painter, these are excellent. Just wash them out with like soap and water. Great if you're like hosting a little paint party or if you're having a kid's party. If you're an art teacher like me, they're also really good for students. So definitely they're 23% off. They're really comfortable. So they're wood handled, but they have a varnish on them. So they're very smooth. No splinters here. And they're easy to hold, easy to grip. So did you just see I bumped into my red? Now look what I'm going to do. I'm just going to smush it in there. I'm just going to mix it in there. No one's going to know. No one knows your mistakes but you and whoever you tell. You guys would have not known that that was a mistake unless I told you, right? But I make mistakes all the time. I just don't really tell anybody. I'm telling you guys just so you know how natural it is. All right, and I'm going to make it a little bit lighter in the center. I might as well do this one while I have the lighter one on here. I could just go right to this one. And I'm painting right over that black line. So that shows you how opaque the paint is, which is nice. And if you want it more transparent, you can water it down. I'm going to put a little bit more white in here. So just make it a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter. Put a little highlight. And then I'll make the rest of the hat a little bit darker here. But I want you to see the difference between the two hats, right? So maybe it's a little bit lighter than the other one. Make this one a little bit lighter here so it doesn't look like one big hat. So this paint, you guys, is 24 colors, 2-ounce bottles. For $29.99. It's 25% off. It's really nice. And again, you get like 2 bottles of white because you're always going to go through more white. Okay. That's good for now. All right, so let's think about, so now we're going to think about skin color and hair color, right? Let me find my, skin color and hair color. So I could do black. I could do dark brown. I haven't really used black yet, have I? I try to wait till the end to use black. So I could do her hair black. Let me see. Let's see. So see that blue right there? I'm just going to go right over it. And I could always outline my painting later. So this is black here. See how I covered it? No one knows. Oh, you know what else would be cute if you put like flowers on their hat? So again, this is just to give you ideas. Really pretty flowers would be nice. You could add birds in the sky. You could do dolphins in the water. There's so many different things that you could do. Okay, so she's gonna have black hair. How about if we do brown hair? Maybe some brown hair. That looks gray. I don't want to do gray hair. Not that there's anything wrong with gray hair. I have gray hair too. Right? Make a nice brown. So again, you just keep experimenting till you get a good color that you like. It's kind of dark. I could put a little bit of white in there to lighten it up. All right, so we got my 3 girls on the beach. So I have 2 sisters. I'm the middle. My favorite color is purple. So that'll be me sitting in the middle. How about that? Kind of, does that look like the color of my hair? Brown hair? Right? And then my little sister, we can make that my little sister. She has lighter hair, and then my older sister has the darkest hair. So we could just, pretend that those are me and my sisters, right, on the beach. So I'm going to make this hair overlap that bathing suit a little bit more. Looks a little bit more natural. And then I could do, I could even put like some orangey highlights in there to maybe make her hair a little lighter because I feel like it's a little bit dark. What do you guys think? Maybe just put a little bit in there, like highlights. What do you think? You like it better like that? With a little highlight. And then I'll make my sister's hair. I don't want to do it lemon yellow. How about if I mix lemon yellow and maybe some of that orange? Let's try the orange. This orange looks good. Let's mix them together. Well, first let's try just this. So this is called orange. I'm going to mix the orange with, let's just try the plain orange so you guys can see what it looks like. Ready? So this is plain orange. My sister would kill me. Are you guys familiar with Sun-In? Back in the day, we used Sun-In in our hair in high school, and it would make our hair orange, but we thought we looked good. We didn't look good, but we thought we'd look good. So if we look back now at our high school pictures, we're like, oh my gosh, look at that orange hair. Our mother was ready to kill us. So again, I could add, now that's just straight orange, but I could put a little bit of that lemon yellow. Let's see what happens with that. All right, here's my lemon yellow. So my little sister is definitely the lightest of the 3 of us. Then I'm middle with the brown, and then my older sister is definitely dark brown, brunette, black. My mother had jet black hair. Little Italian. How's that? You like that color? All right, so now we're going to go into skin tones. Gonna fix that hair up a little bit right there. Skin tone. So we could go back to the nude. You guys know that there's a nude here. We could do peach. We could do similar to sand color, maybe add a little white to it. So let's see. There was a pretty, this is Virgie light yellow. So again, the nice thing about these is that you have so many colors to choose from, but you can also make your own. So I like doing both. I like experimenting. How about, which one should we start with? Let's start with me. No, we needed a little bit more skin color. Does that look like my skin color? I might be a little bit more brown than that. Plus it looks a little bit like the beach. Let's see. So that's the key, is to make it look different than the sand and different than the hair. And that's where you start mixing your tones. All right, maybe my back looks a little burnt. Maybe I forgot to put sunblock on. Here's my arm. And again, I just want my arm to be a different color than my hair. Am I that color? Kind of tan right now. Right, so wear your sunblock, but give yourself a tan. Try not to make yourself too burnt. I've gotten you guys are going to make fun of me. I've gotten so much better with wearing sunblock, but I don't wear it all over, right? So look at how tan my body is, but my face isn't, because I've been wearing like 50 on my face. All right, so here's my arm. Let's make my other, this is my arm over here, and then we'll make my sister's different. So Deanne, this is Deanne. That's my older sister. So Deanne's got the darkest hair, but the lightest skin. She burns as soon as she gets out into the sun. So we'll make Deanne a little bit lighter. So how would I do that? Well, I would add some white to it. So we'll put some white. I could use the same fleshy color, but put a little white in it, or maybe a little yellow in it. She would like to be tanner. All right, so let's see. So this would be the leg. I could do it pink like she's burnt. That would be funny, huh? Oh, you know what else would be cute? Like a little crab on the sand. Or like you could put like a margarita on the sand. You know, you just got to think about different things you could do that are fun. She looks a little too light. She's like, why you make me so light? Why am I so pale? I look so, give me a tan. Here, I'll give her a little bit more color. That look better. Her back would be bright pink though, that's for sure. And then her arm here. And you guys, these could be family, it could be friends, it could be, you know, beach day, whatever you want. And then we could do Darcy. Darcy's in between both of us. She's the fairest with hair, but her coloring in skin. Let's see if I can come up with a good color. We want to make her look a little bit different, right? We want her hat and her body. You still want to be able to see it, right? How's that? What do you guys think? Now you could add highlights to it, and I would just do highlights by taking my brush, probably my smallest brush. This one is a number 2, and just taking a little bit of white, and I could just add like a little white line there for highlight. I could add some little white lines on the hat like that. Almost like an outline, but just a little bit. So this would be details. This would be something that you would do towards the end of your project. You can wait, you can take a break, you can keep going. Maybe I put a little highlight on the bow. I could do a little highlight on my ribbon. So this is, again, it's just giving it a little bit more interest, a little bit more depth to it. Give her a little there. How about a little here? A little here. Do you see the difference when I put a little bit of that white on there? You can even add it on here. I think it makes it a little bit more interesting. Do a little bit on her behind, a little bit on this cheek here. A little bit more on the hat. Maybe a little bit on the hair. You can always outline it if you wanted to. What else do you think I need? Do you want to put little birds in the sky? Maybe some real simple seagulls. This is just black. I could even do like a little line right here in the middle, like that. Maybe they're looking at the birds. Put another one right here. What do you think? And again, if you guys want to do a little outline, you can always add a little outline to it. I don't think you need to, but if you wanted to, if you lost the separation between this water and the sky, you could just add a little bit. If you want to give it a little bit of outline, I'm using black. Hey, Helen, thank you. Helen says, excellent. Thanks, Helen. Thanks, you guys, for following me. All right, so again, so you can see my edges are not that clean, so I can go back around and outline everything, and that would just clean up the edges a little bit. So I could just go slow. I'm just using straight black. Take your time. If you get tired, take a break. It doesn't all have to be done at once. And, keep experimenting. Don't quit. When I'm with the kids, I say, if you're playing basketball and you miss a shot, are you going to quit or are you going to keep practicing? Even LeBron James still practices, right? I mean, everyone. So every time you create a painting, just think of it like, you know, a practice. We're not going for fine art, we're going for fun art. And every time you paint or create something, you're going to learn a different technique or how to mix a color. And how about a happy little accident? Do you know how many times I do something and it's by mistake? But no one knows unless I tell you guys, oh, yeah, thank you. That was a mistake. And you can just see how outlining is, making it pop out a little bit more, right? So I'm cleaning up my edges. Just makes it look a little bit more finished. I do also really like creating outdoors, but I'm going to tell you that, it can be challenging. Those plein air painters who paint outside, you're going to have bugs that stick to your canvas, wind. Oh my goodness. I've done so many summer camps and it gets windy and everything blows over. So, and I used to stream outside live all the time, but you know what? You never know when someone's going to start mowing their lawn and you're live. The next thing you know, all you hear is a lawnmower. So I'm better off on a regular basis being inside. But if you guys can go outside and create, again, it's another thing I highly recommend because it feels good as long as it's not too hot out. And I just want you guys to see the difference between the ones that are outlined. So I'll do one outline and then you could just kind of compare and see which one you like better, right? But I can outline the swimsuit. And again, you can personalize it how any way you want to, right? So do you like it better outlined or not outlined? So there's outlined, not outlined, right? Totally up to you if you like it, whatever you want. And again, you can go back into it and it just gives it a little bit more depth, right? You can always take a break. I always would tell people, after about an hour of painting, take a break, walk away from it. An hour of painting is a long time. So you definitely need to take a step back from it and look at it. And then, you can continue. So Rosie says the sunset picture is nice. Hey, Rosie, thank you. I'm going to do that one too. So I have an upcoming paint party where I'm going to do the, this is again, like this is a corporate meeting where people are going to be coming from out of town. And so they are canvas. See, this one is, and I label my paintings so I can find them easily. But this one's on a stretch canvas, but I'm going to need a panel because these people are coming from airplanes, right? And so I need a panel because it's flat and it travels like it's easier to travel with. It's more portable. So that's the difference with the panels is they're flatter. You can always pop them in a picture frame. Right? So stretch canvases over wood. They're both gessoed cotton. And I'm just adding a little bit of black to kind of redefine it, outline it a little, make it stand out a little bit. If you don't have great fine motor skills, you can always use a marker to re-outline it or not outline it at all. And you can always sign your artwork with a marker as well, because a lot of people cannot, including myself, do a nice, neat signature. Lots of artists use a marker to sign their name. Nothing wrong with that. What do you guys think? You think it's done? You want me to add anything to it? Again, you could put seashells, drinks, cocktails. You could put a crab on the beach. You could put a sailboat on the water, like a little baby sailboat. I'm going to leave mine right now. Maybe I'll just, again, just like I stepped away from it. So right in here, I feel like this could use a little bit. What do you think? A little bit on this side too. You could always put like little dots. You could do a sunset. You could put a word down at the bottom. Summer fun. There. What do you guys think? Done? I think we're done with that one. All right. So that, again, would be the difference. Aw, Helen says, wow, I love your drawing, professional. Thank you, Helen. You are too kind and I appreciate it. And thank you for following me and watching me create. So I just now focused really on these art key paints. Half of them are on my hand. But I just, I love the colors. So I just wanted to share this one with you. So here, look at all the colors, and you guys are going to get 2 whites because you're always going to blow through more white than anything else. The colors are vibrant, right? They are beautiful. I would definitely say, so I paint every single day and I teach people how to paint. I would definitely say this is great for novice, for beginners, for paint parties. So when I do a paint party, I bring every color just because if I don't, someone's going to ask me for that color. But the kit comes with all 24 of those colors, and they're all 2-ounce bottles. And you also get a palette and some palette knives. I didn't use the palette knives, and I would not for a paint party, right? I just wouldn't. I think they're fun to experiment with, fun for kids to practice with. These were the brushes, so that's what I used today, were the synthetic brushes. They're good for acrylic. I don't use oil, but you can use oil as well. I don't recommend oil paint. I'm a big advocate of like non-toxic products, and I don't, just for my own sake and lungs, I don't like to use oil paints. But anyway, these are really, look, they're $10 for 12 brushes. Okay. So inexpensive nylon. I'm going to go wash these out. I just use mild soap to wash them out, let them air dry, and reuse them. They're great for the students. Again, they have long handles. They're easy to use. Look at all the paint I have left. So I'm going to have to do something else, like another project. But this is all non-toxic, really fun, vibrant colors. Let's see. So I've been talking about art key products. So I have both I thought that would be fun to do is the Arcade gouache paint. You guys, I have not used that yet. Oh my gosh. Do you want to experiment with me and see what it's all about? The kit is so cool looking, but I have not used it. So I just opened it up because I thought it looked fun. Okay, let's see it. Let's go to it and see what it's all about. Hold on. I got to find it here. Look at this. Okay. So here is, it says Jelly Gouache paint set. All right, look at this. Comes in a kit, another chart. Okay, you can take this lid off if you want to. Look at this. Here's all the colors too. Look at that. How fun does that look? So it's gouache, right? And look at those beautiful colors. So I thought we could just try to do one just to see what it's all about. I don't really know how it will compare to acrylic, but I thought it would be fun to experiment and see. So let's just grab a panel. So here's one of my this is an 8x10 panel. So your panel is flat, so it doesn't have the frame. This is also, it has gesso on it. It is cotton. So we're going to set our fun girls aside for right now. Okay, girls, sit over there. And let's just give it a shot and see what these gouache are all about. Okay, let's try. Interesting. I'm a fan of sky blue, you guys. Okay, so look at sky blue. So I'm going to peel this off. All right, interesting, right? Peel it off. So I'm going to guess that the lid, once you put the plastic lid back on, it keeps this sealed, right? So I have not used this before. So this is this is a project that we're experimenting together. I'm going to scoop up my brush. It's a little chunky. Ooh, it's pretty. It looks pretty, doesn't it? It's very opaque. It's very thick. It's thicker than the acrylic paint. It's really pretty. So again, my guess, because there's no cap, it has that peel. So my guess is that once I seal it up, so there's a spongy cap on here. So once I seal it, that's going to keep the paint fresh. So if you don't go through, because that's a lot of paint. So if you don't go through that whole thing in one time, which I would not, especially on this little thing. All right, but so that was sky blue. Oh, this is pretty. So this is violet. It's going to be pretty dark. Maybe let's go to rose. So these are 25%. Ooh, look at how pretty that is. This is rose, and let me get some of this blue off of here. I'm going to scoop it right in there. Look at that. Let's see. It's very cool. So I've never used gouache before. And that was probably too much. Look at that pretty color. Oh, you guys, it probably doesn't look as pretty as it is in real life. So on the camera, a lot of times purple looks brown, but this is like a beautiful, this would be like a really pretty sunset. So this is like rose with sky blue. You mix them together. Horizontal brush strokes. This would be like a really pretty sunset painting. And now I'm getting a glare. So I'm going to hold it so you can see it better. So that little texture, isn't that pretty? You probably get a better idea too of the purple when I hold it up closer, because sometimes, again, purple on camera can look brown or black. And I like to see the brush strokes. All right, where'd that magenta go? So it's definitely a thicker than acrylic. So this is a gouache. and I'm mixing the rose together with the sky blue. Pretty. And I'm using horizontal brush strokes. What could we do at the bottom? Let's see. How about if we go down into maybe a red? We get into like a pretty red. Let's see what kind of gouache this is. This is red. Let's open this red. Vermilion looks pretty too. All right, let's get this red open and see. This is what the red looks like. I'm going to take the peel off. Just scoop up the red. It's very thick. And again, I can always add some white to it if I want to. I'm going to overlap them. I like when you can't really tell where one color ends and one begins. And I can even put some of that rose down here at the bottom. Can you see how thick that is? Or maybe I go back to the purple. Maybe I put a little bit more purple. Or let's try a new color. Let's try for this vermilion. Okay. So this is, you guys, this is gouache. It's really fun. All right, let's scoop up some of this. This is vermilion. Ready? I'm going to kind of mix it in there. So I'm mixing the vermilion and the red together on the canvas. What do you think? I think it's pretty. I might put a little bit more red to break that up. So I didn't even wash off the brush. I just scooped up some red. And now I'm going to let it dry. Because it's pretty thick, you guys. It's definitely thicker than the acrylic. Right? Is that pretty? And these, you can turn them any way you want to. So look at how thick that is. So this is the gouache. Right? I can turn it any way I want to. So I just did the background and I'm using just a little canvas panel. And I can just kind of spread out the paint on the edge just to make it look a little more finished. It's a very thin panel and it won't buckle. So I have to tell you guys, I have used panels before with a lot of paint that have buckled. This will not, do you know what I mean? Like warp. This will not warp and it's cotton. So I'm just going to kind of clean up my edges a little bit. See that? It just makes it look a little bit more finished. These are really good for, for kids, or if you want to do a lot, it doesn't take up a lot of space because it's so thin. I'm going to do the purple. See that? I'm just getting the little edge here all the way around. You guys, this is non-toxic. It's washable. I'm not worried about my hands or my fingernails, even though I just did my fingernails. I did my fingernails for today, you guys, but I mean, I'm not going to worry. And I am messy. Most people do not paint as messy as I do, but it's non-toxic and washable. So this is very thick. It's very vibrant. I'm very impressed with it. So look at, do you see the little white texture? So that's the canvas gesso. So even the panels already have it. I can leave it like that and just let it have some texture, or I can add a little bit more paint to it. So some people like that. Some people like the texture. I like to cover up those little white. And I do like sky blue with purple. So I just want to, now what if, oh, I liked it better before you did that. I heard you. So again, I'm not even gonna, this is just so fun and relaxing for me. But if you liked it better before, what could I do to fix it? Well, oops, not that. All right, so I kind of like it. I think it looks cool, but again, I can always go back into it with more of the, this one was called Rose. So I'm using a gouache paint, you guys. It's very fun. It's thick, okay? And again, I could just go back into it. So this one is the Rose, and I'm painting over the sky blue. And together it makes this like really pretty purple. And that's the thing. Just don't be afraid. This is fun art, not fine art. Take a risk. Be creative. And maybe I even like put some blue down here or some orange. I don't know. To me, that's a little bit too solid right there. And then I could paint something over this, a silhouette of something, right? So right here, I probably want to put a little bit more of that orange right around here. What do you think? You like that little bit of orange on the bottom? I'm going for like sunset colors. One of my favorite things, sunsets. Look at the sky tonight and see what colors you can find in the sky. See if you see any of these colors. What do you think? Then you could always do a black silhouette of something. And again, it's going to look very different. I'll hold it up close. Can you see it? So I like to see the texture of the paint. And then you can do a silhouette of something. What could we do a silhouette of? Let's see. How about if we do, let me think about this for a second. I could do, now if I was patient, I would wait for this to dry. But I'll do a little bit of land down here in black. It's hard for you guys to see because the easel's black. Then how about, this is just an idea. Because we were talking, now this would not be in Cleveland because we don't have palm trees here, unfortunately, but there's a little palm tree because I'll pretend I'm in Florida. And go wash out your brushes when you're done with your painting. I wish we could have palm trees in Cleveland. right? You could put coconuts. Here, let's give it some coconuts. There's some coconuts. Can you see those? You could put summer of 2022. You could put Captiva. You could put people sitting on the beach watching the sunset. So again, this is a Art Key gouache painting on an 8x10 canvas panel. Then we have the Art Key acrylics. I think I need to go wash up. Look at this. So again, I'm just going to use some real mild soap and water and wash out my brushes, and I'll come back later to see you guys again real soon. Thanks for watching. Thank you for following me. You guys, happy summer. Hey, Jeremy, thank you for following me. All right, you guys, keep creating and think outside the box.